What's going on? Alrighty, we're back. So, today's topic, let's get right into it. I put up a poll or like a questionnaire on my Instagram story, and I got some good topics that you guys wanted to discuss. I'm going to kind of just go based on how I got them. So this episode is going to be on the first question I got or first suggestion I got. And that was, how did 2020 change your life? Because obviously we all were affected by 2020 in some way or another. It started off pretty normal. Another year, people were excited about the new decade and, wanted to get, a fresh slate from what happened in the last 10 years. I know I did. I had a rough 2010 to 2019. A lot of stuff happened in that decade where it was just a lot. Graduated high school, got my degree, started multiple businesses throughout the time, and then obviously had kids halfway through, and then just being a dad and continuing my business as the time went on, as the years went on. And a lot of stuff happened throughout that time where I questioned who I was as a person. You go through a lot of character development in your last couple years of high school, and then once you get out of high school, you try to find out who you really are. And me personally, I didn't know what direction I was actually going to go in coming out of high school. I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted to do, but not any true direction. I didn't even think I was going to be a trainer coming out of high school. I liked working out, obviously. I enjoyed it. It was part of who I was, and everything that I did kind of was just around working out. I just did working out as a hobby at the time. And when I went to college, I originally wanted to get into business. I thought business was going to be a good avenue to get into because I was really good at it. I had good communication skills, so I figured business communications was kind of the direction I wanted to go, and that was the direction I started in. Then playing football in college, I injured my knees, and I realized this is not for me anymore. I can't really go that direction. So changed it up. Found nutrition and dietetics, which is where I ended up pursuing my degree, and that became kind of a stepping stone into helping me become a trainer, because I became a trainer about a year later and trying to rehab myself with my knee injuries. So I basically rehabbed myself the whole time with the knee injuries. I didn't go to any personal trainers or physical therapists. I did it all on my own. So, learning, being self-taught as much as I could was a huge help in my jumpstart into my career. But then, fast forward, now I'm going to be 10 years into the business. It's crazy to even think about that. I started training people without even realizing it as a junior in high school. I was working out every day, and freshmen wanted to start working out with me, and I was obviously helping them get ready for the season and get them better and stronger. And then senior year, I had incoming 8th graders coming to train with me. Their parents would come and reach out and ask me to get their kids stronger or in shape for football because they wanted to play football. And I did it. At the time, I just was okay, well, I'm going to learn workouts and do them myself. And then when I would train the kids, I would basically just finish my workout whenever that period was done. And then when they would finish school and they wanted to come work out, I would take them through the whole workout I did. And I would give them obviously tips and tricks that I learned, or things that would make it easier for them that I didn't do just because I knew I had already gone through it. So that was the start of it. But I didn't even realize I was training clients. I didn't even realize I was training people. I was just working out and then helping people get ready. So, I was in 2011. yeah, like 2010, 2011 was when junior year was, and then carrying it on till now, it's crazy. It's crazy to think like I've been doing it for 10 years now, and I'm still a pretty young individual, 26. So to be able to have all that knowledge from all the years of trial and error is really awesome. And, you can ask anybody who's ever worked out with me or trained with me. I got some tricks, and I know what I do. I know my business well, and I know how to do my job really well. And, I take pride in that. A lot of people think, oh, you're young or this and that and the third. Like, I know I'm young. And in the beginning, when I first started personal training, like at a gym, a lot of people didn't take me seriously because I was like the youngest trainer on staff, and a lot of clients were just like, what is this kid going to teach me? Like, I'd rather go to that guy who's been doing it for years. And it's like, I already had years under my belt. But they don't want to give me the time of day, and it's fine. Now, I have a lot of clients that are based on referrals because I've helped people reach goals, and now those people are telling their friends and family, and, it's just a domino effect. And that's how you build a business, especially in a business like this, like a self-employed business. It's all about connections and referrals. So I really do take pride in that, and in my connections with people and clients who over time, like especially if you've been training with me for a long time, you're not even a client anymore. We're friends. I consider most of my clients my friends, and I see them multiple times a week. Like that's just the business. You develop this relationship with this person and with these groups of people that really help benefit you more than it benefits just them, in my opinion. So it's been a pretty awesome experience. And maybe if you guys want to hear more about my personal training experience, I can go into more detail about it, and I can actually make it a whole video. If anything, if you guys want to hear that, just let me know. I'll go into detail about that because my journey is kind of different. So yeah, fast forward to now, the new year. Last year, 2020, I just wanted to leave everything in the past. I wanted to leave all the bad in that past decade. I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to, get everything I wanted to get done. All these goals and dreams that I had, I wanted to start really focusing on them. And, I knew my kids were going to be starting school soon, and I wanted to focus on that as well. So January, what was I doing in January? I was still working at a gym, it was like a group training gym, and then, transitioned into, like, I was kind of part owner of that gym, and it was in Pasadena, California. It was fun. Like, I really enjoyed that. Like, it was definitely something I wasn't expecting, but then when I got into it, it was like the most fun I've ever had. A lot of work, because obviously running a gym is not easy, especially not a group training gym where you have to make sure these classes are getting done and the clients are seeing results, and it's all about group training, so you have to make sure everybody's seeing the same amount of results as the other person. So that was hard, but I kind of started to fall out of love with it around January, end of January. Especially the distance. Like, I live in the valley, and it's about a 30-ish minute drive, 25-minute drive, depending on what time you leave, from where I'm at to where the gym was in Pasadena. And it's funny because, like, I would leave really early in the morning every day. I think I would leave the house at 4:30 in the morning, be at the gym by 5 to open up. That way the gym was ready to start the first class at 5:30 in the morning. And I would be there from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. when we closed. Our last class was at 7, and then at 8 we'd finish, and I would drive back to the valley, and I had clients here at like 8 p.m. till 9. I would do that like 3 or 4 times a week. So it was tough. It was a lot of wear and tear, and I just couldn't do it anymore. My body was worn out. My mind was worn out. And then come February, I sold my portion and got out of that business because it was just very emotionally draining, I guess you could say. But it was a good adventure to have. or a good business venture to go into. And, now that I'm in the position that I'm in for, I guess you could say, just total personal training, private training, I find it more enjoyable because I can still do group classes or group training when I want to, but it doesn't have to solely be based off that. And I prefer more one-on-one interaction or individualized interaction because it helps the client get more in tune with what they need to get done, and I can help them get the information they need to know so that they can be more successful. So, I do enjoy that more now. But I got out around February, and then around the same time that I got out, I got offered a job at the same type of gym. And I knew the owner already of this gym, and he offered me just a job as a trainer, just no big obligations, just run one of the locations that we have and help us out. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. And it was only mornings, so I would only have to be there from 5 a.m. till 10ish. So it was only 5 hours. It was only 3 days a week or 2 days a week. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll help you out. And I was already kind of used to that schedule, so it really wasn't that much of a change, and it was closer to my house. It was 5 minutes away, depending on the time. So that was great. And then, of course, we did that for about 2.5 weeks because I got the job around mid-February, and then good old-fashioned COVID hit. I say good old-fashioned, but this was something that we all kind of heard about when it first started to, hit China at first, and next thing you know, we are in the midst of a pandemic, complete shutdown of the country, and life as we knew it was over for the time being. And a lot of people stressed out. They got scared. I was scared. I lost a job. The gym I was working at, we had to close. We had to close, and it sucked because you immediately go into my livelihood. How are you going to provide? How are you going to be able to make payments and bills on time? And you freak out because you had a plan going, and then it just gets the head cut off without any notice. You don't even expect it to happen, and it just does. So it was a lot of scrambling, for me at least. I can't speak for everybody else. I'm going to mainly try to focus this on myself and how it affected my life. I was scared. I was really scared at what was going to happen, where I was going to go, what direction I was going to take. And clients, they took breaks. They wanted to take time off because they were scared. They didn't want this to, obviously, they didn't want to be affected by it. They thought, they can stay away from it as much as possible by staying home. And that's what we all thought. We all thought, yes, we'll take a couple weeks off. Obviously, at the time, the information we knew was just give it a couple weeks, let the infection rate go down, and we'll be back to normal. It never happened. It never happened. So we all started to have to change the way we lived. Couldn't go out to eat, couldn't go watch movies, couldn't really even go to the grocery store without wearing a mask. And now masks are probably going to be a part of everyday life from now on. Most places may not even require a mask, and that's cool. I know already some states don't require it anymore. They live life like COVID never happened, which is cool. But in California, we are still pretty regulated, which is, it sucks, but it is what it is. We had a very high infection rate, so we have to keep people safe and healthy. I actually had COVID beginning of January and of 2020. And it's funny because when I got sick in January, it was the end of December, and then it carried it probably December 29th or right at the end of December. I got pretty sick. New Year's, I was bedridden. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I did not leave my bed. I was so sick. I had a fever. I had a headache, I had like congestion, and I couldn't breathe. It was horrible. I mean, that's another thing too. When I get sick, I don't get like a cold really. I can fight off a cold in like a day pretty easily. But when I get sick, I get really, really messed up. You know, I've had strep throat like 3 times, and that's coming from someone who's had COVID, like, well, at least my experience with COVID, I would rather get that 10 times than get strep. Strep is the worst. It's the worst feeling I've ever had. And I've had it a couple times. So when I had COVID, at the time we didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. And I'm not the type to go to the doctor. I'm not the type to go get immediately checked into an ER or go to the urgent care. I try to fight it as much as I can. I feel like I'm pretty resilient when it comes to that, and my immune system's pretty strong. So I never went to the doctor to even get tested or get checked at the time. I was just like, I'm going to fight this off as best as I can. Any home remedies I may have, I'm going to try them out. And I couldn't shake the fever. I had a fever for 10 days, and I had a headache for like 6 of those 10 days, and the congestion lingered too, probably a little bit longer than the whole fever part, but I just couldn't shake this heat that I kept feeling. I kept feeling like my body was on fire. And it wasn't like to the point where you feel like you're under some duress, like your body is going through some stuff. I could just feel that like my skin was hotter, I couldn't catch a sweat. I would try to go and work out, and I couldn't really sweat. I would try to go to the sauna to sweat it out, and I would sweat so much and I would be able to breathe, and then as soon as I got out of it, I was just like right back. So I knew something was wrong, but I was like, I'll be fine. It's the flu or something. I wasn't sneezing, I wasn't coughing, so I was just like, I'll get done with it soon. And it took a while, but I finally got through it. And then, fast forward, once COVID was actually a thing, I heard a story or like something on the news that said first cases were actually found in like November of 2019. That's why they called it COVID-19, because it was discovered in 2019. So, some of the first cases happened back then, and I started to remember, I'm like, dude, mind you, this was in like April or May when they started to talk about this, and I was remembering how in January, how sick I was, and all the symptoms that COVID had, I had. So I started to put 2 and 2 together, and I realized, like, oh damn, I had COVID, and I had it early, and I had it bad. Mind you, you know how they always talk about if you're a healthy person, you should be fine. If you're an individual under 25, your likelihood of catching it is like 0.0001% or whatever it is. I had it. I'm very healthy. I'm probably more healthy now than I was back then, but I was a pretty healthy individual. My immune system was strong, and it hit me hard. Granted, I wasn't on a ventilator and I wasn't admitted into the hospital, but I had it bad. And I shook it off. I shook it off as best as I could, and I went through it. But again, I did it because I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't panic. I didn't immediately chalk it up to COVID and think I'm dead, I'm gonna die. And it was bad. It was bad for the time that I was sick. But it's really interesting to be able to say that I went through it before even knowing it, and I was able to get out of it without even realizing it. I just kind of fought it off. So when I look back at the time when I had it, I was like, dude, it was bad. So now I have a lot more sympathy for the infection in general and the virus. So now when people talk about getting it, at least some of the people that I know that have gotten it, I have friends that have gotten it and have 0 symptoms. They're 100% asymptomatic and they test positive. It happens. But I have some friends even that are, still sick, and they've had it for like 2 weeks already and they're still sick. But I think it was kind of a beneficial thing because a lot of people, I'm not saying it was beneficial that people got sick and people died. That's horrible. It really sucks. I'm not trying to say that was good. I'm saying it's beneficial for the people who got it and actually made it through it, that were fortunate enough to make it through it. It really gave people a reality check to like keep your health in priority. Especially in America, most people don't take health and wellness as a priority. They don't treat it as something that they need to make sure it's always locked down. And COVID really slapped them in the face. I mean, I was healthy and it got me. So it just made me even realize more, like, I need to make sure I am on top of my game. I need to, like, I think one thing I definitely wasn't doing was I wasn't getting enough natural vitamin D. I wasn't spending enough time in the sun. I was working so much, so I was inside, and it's like, no, you have to take time to be outside, and you have to take time to make sure you take your vitamins, which I did, but I wasn't always on top of it. And now, like, I'm on top of it at all times. Like, vitamins are right here next to my tripod, where I see it every day before I go to bed, always reminding me to take my vitamins. You know, I drink a gallon of water a day. Like, it's part of my life, and it always has been, but now I make sure it is a constant, like, it's part of my routine no matter what. So it was really good that people got to get that reality check, and unfortunately a lot of people didn't get that reality check in time, or were already sick and suffered from COVID. And I'm so sorry for the people that may have lost their lives, and to their families that have lost loved ones. Like, I'm so sorry for that. I know how tough it is. Even with COVID, I've lost family members this year. It sucks. It sucks. Whether it be COVID or whether it be anything, it sucks. And I just hope that everyone is more weary now of their health, because I don't want people to get locked down again, or for another virus like this to come up and people start to panic again. We should all be prepared. We should all be ready for anything. And until we are, it's just going to continue to happen, and people are going to continue to get sick, and it's just not going to be something that we all need to be worried about. We need to always make sure that it's the thing that we take care of the most, and the thing that we need to worry about the most is ourselves and our health. So more so than just wearing a mask and keeping your social distance, take care of yourself. Treat your body like a working organism. It is a machine. Your body can withstand a lot as long as you take care of it. So COVID really did affect 2020 for me. Obviously it did everyone, but for me, for business, business slowed down a lot. I got worried. I started to panic and try to freak out at how I was going to get back on my feet. And, I was able to scavenge and, maneuver things, and I was able to kind of do it, but it was tough. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was tough. 2020 was not easy. On top of business, I was going through a lot of anxiety still, and depression. Depression hit hard 2020. It hit hard all of the previous decade, but 2020 was pretty bad too. I had a lot of patches where I was sad, man. I was so sad, and it's depression. I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was that was making me sad. I was just sad, and it sucked. It sucked every single day to feel that and not know how to fix yourself, not know how to make yourself happy. I tried everything, and it just didn't work. I started to run in April after never running before, and it kind of helped a little bit. It helped while I was running. While I was running, I was happy. I was like focused on that, and it gave me a new goal to set. And every time I was out there on the road, just thinking, okay, I got to get better. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to fix this. I got to help that. And it was nice to have something to motivate myself. And it was challenging because, your body's not, if you're not training to run, and you just thrust yourself into that type of, training, it's not easy. Your body needs time to recover and adapt. So it was physically demanding. It was mentally demanding. It was what I needed at the time, and it helped for the time being. But there was still days, man, where I was just freaking sad. I was down, I was out, and I just couldn't figure out why. I couldn't figure out what to do. And it sucked. It sucked because, I still have to be a dad. I still have to be a positive influence to people who look up to me as their trainer, or as someone who just is a motivational light for those that follow me, that know me, that are around me. And I also started to mentor a group of teenagers that, were like friends of our family, but, I knew one of them, and all of his friends became part of that group. And I just became kind of like I've talked about them before, I became kind of like a big brother to them. They all come from like single parent households, and I have experience in that, obviously. So they looked for me for advice and for, mentorship. And I did that, and it was amazing. It's been amazing. I'm very close to these kids now, and I love every one of them. We've had our ups and our downs, and they know that, I know that, but they're teenagers. It happens. I was not the easiest person to deal with as a teenager, and they know they're not. But I'm also trying to teach them all the things that I struggled with so that they don't struggle with the same. It's not easy because you don't want someone to tell you how to live your life, especially if they're not your dad or your family, but at the end of the day, they know I have their best interest in mind. I would never lead them astray. I would never want them to do something that was going to be detrimental to their happiness or their well-being. And their parents know that. All their moms know, like, I would do anything to make sure that those kids were happy and they were safe and they were led down the right path. So that's what I've been doing the most too. So going through my depressive episodes, or I guess I wouldn't call them episodes, going through my depressive patches, I had to put it aside. I had to put it aside to focus on them and make sure they were always given a positive outlook whenever we left our little meetings and stuff. And whenever I saw them, I wanted them to know, like, I was always going to be that positive figure for them when their lives were tough. And they all went through some stuff. Obviously, being in high school and then COVID hitting, I'm sure it hit them so incredibly hard because of school, and they couldn't see their friends anymore. And I know it was tough for them. I was with them the whole time, and I tried to just help them out as much as I could. And when I think about it now, I'm so thankful for those kids. I'm so incredibly thankful to be able to say that, like, I don't know if you can hear my dog barking in the back. She's so funny. But to be able to say that these kids were more beneficial to me than I was beneficial to them is such a nice thing to realize, because they helped keep me positive. Plain and simple, they helped keep me on the right path of just making sure that I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to allow myself to think the world is over. Your world is over. You'll never be able to find happiness. You'll never be able to be happy ever again. And I love that. I love that because I needed it. I needed it, and I didn't know I needed it. So it was a blessing in disguise, and I'm so thankful for them. And I wouldn't change that experience for anything. I'm going to be in those kids' lives for the rest of my life, for the rest of their lives, as long as I can be in their lives. So that was a very positive thing that happened in 2020. They helped change my life. That part of 2020 helped change my life. And they've gone through their issues with amongst each other, and I've had to mediate. I've had to manage those issues with them and make sure that they weren't going to do anything detrimental to their friendship that would be the end of it, because that's the last thing we want. And whether or not they realized it or not, some of the harsh talks we've had, like they were some of the first people that got pep talks. They were some of the first people that got these pep talks before it was even an idea, before it was even a thought, like, let me start a podcast. They were the ones that got the information that I was trying to put out. And they were the ones that were learning from the lessons that I had already learned from my life. And it was awesome. It was awesome to see their growth little by little, even in the couple weeks that we were already beginning to hang out and talk. Like, they were changing already, and it was awesome. It was so awesome to see. So it was super rewarding to have that in my life too. But, you know, with that comes a lot of responsibility, with always making sure that if they needed me, I was there. And I was. I remember I'd have to go and see them super late at night just because they were arguing with each other, and I'd have to go help. I wouldn't change it for anything. I would do it every time if they needed me to. If they asked me to be there, I would be there, because that's what I promised them, and I wasn't going to break that promise to them ever. So I'm thankful for them, and I'm thankful for the fact that I was able to be given that opportunity, because most people aren't given that opportunity, especially when it's something that they need. So I love those kids. I love the relationship I have with them and the bond that I have with them. And it's truly amazing to be able to say that. And they watch this podcast, so I know they're going to be thankful to hear that. And I know that they know all this stuff that I'm saying. I tell them that all the time. But the fact that I'm sorry if you can hear anything in the background. My dog's going crazy in the back. But yeah, I mean, I can't begin to explain how thankful I am for those groups of kids, or that group of kids, I should say. But another great thing that happened was, you know, I was able to kind of focus on myself more, on my own personal health and wellness and physical health. Like, I got into the best shape of my life this year, or this past year, 2020. You know, I've been working out for a long time, since 2010. So it had been 10 years last year that I started working out, and it was just barely last year that I got into the best physical shape of my life. And I think I'm almost positive the main thing that was the cause of it was my running. I had never run before, really, while I was working out. So now that I started incorporating running, my body really adapted well to that type of stimulus. I did not expect my body to do that well from running. I did not expect my body to basically look the way it did just from incorporating that. Because, I mean, I was always dieting, I was always in shape, but this shape was something I've never experienced before. I was the leanest I've ever been, the best cardio I've ever had, for sure. The strongest too. I mean, I've been stronger before, but I mean for overall. You know, I've powerlifted before and I've been really strong. And I'm not saying I would have probably moved the same numbers that I did during this time, but I was overall very strong. And I think I was more physically strong, like in everyday life and actual like movements. And if I needed to do something, I was able to do it, and I was more explosive. And, you know, that was a positive. I got into the best shape of my life, and I fell in love with running. You know, it was a blessing in disguise as well. And, you know, it's pretty awesome to be able to say that after 10 years to finally see some crazy improvements physically. Like, it's so sick. Like, you guys don't understand how awesome it was to like see my body changing every day, every single day. Like, I think today, you know what? It's not Transformation Tuesday or whatever, but I'm going to post a transformation like picture thing on my Instagram. So go ahead and check that out on my Instagram if you would like to see it, if you haven't already seen it. From like right when I started working out till like the best shape I got into, which was like right in October, November. Because then, you know, holidays hit and your boy likes to eat, you know, your boy likes to eat. So, you know, I wasn't sad that I fell off the wagon. You know, I gained some holiday pounds. I didn't care. I knew it was going to happen. I, you know, got into the best shape of my life because of that. I was like, I'm going to see how far I can push it until I want to enjoy myself. And I enjoyed myself. It's another thing too. I learned how to enjoy myself more. I learned how to enjoy life and food and the things that I wanted to eat and not worry about it, because I knew I was going to work hard for it. So, my body regressed a little bit. My body changed a little bit. I'm not saying I got fat or overweight. I don't really like that word fat. I didn't really get overweight. I gained weight for sure because I ate a lot. But I was also dealing with injuries too. Like all the running kind of messed my knees up. And, coming from knee injuries, I was kind of worried. So I took time off from running because I was trying to rest them. And, I gained some weight. It is what it is. But I'm getting back there. I'm almost there. It's going a little bit slower now because I'm just kind of taking my time. Whenever I want to eat something, I'll eat it. I don't care. So it'll come back when I want it to. When I want to step on the gas, I know I can do it. So that's kind of a good thing to fall back on, to know that I've been there and I have proof of it. So that's been great. Where did I want to take this? Yeah, the physical aspect was great. Mental aspect was good too, because I actually did help out a lot over time. And I tried to think of ways to help my mental game get better throughout the year. And yeah, physically I was looking great, but I was still kind of dealing with some mental stuff. Still kind of dealing with some depressive moments, and anxiety is always going to be there. You always feel anxious for certain things, and I know I do. So that's not going to go anywhere. You just got to learn how to cope with it and how to deal with it day by day, best way you can. And I might go into that in another video, which I probably will. I know a lot of people want to know about that. And I started to realize that I needed to take more pride in myself than I did anything else, and it actually helped out a lot when it comes to my mental state and my physical state, because I always took work so seriously. Like, work was everything for me, and it still is, but it's number 2 next to my girls and I. Like, obviously my daughters are my number 1 priority, but I also focus on myself too, because I can't be a good dad unless I'm in the right mental state and in the right physical state too. You know what I mean? I have to be able to be functioning, and to be able to be a functioning dad, you have to be functioning. So they're motivation for me to stay on track with myself and to be able to be the best version of myself every day. So that's been really awesome too. Some bad things that happened this year. I wouldn't say a lot of bad. Dating in 2020 was kind of rough because quarantine and the shutdown kind of prevented a lot of people from seeing each other and all that stuff. But you make do with what you can. I went on a couple dates, hung out with some people. It was fun. I didn't meet anybody that I don't still kind of talk to. Like, we're all still close, like friends even. That's kind of a blessing too, even. Like, even though it didn't end up in like anything romantic, we're still friends. I still talk to these people pretty consistently. So just because we're not romantic doesn't mean it's not still a good thing. I'm very thankful for that. Because you meet people from different walks of life, and that's something I really enjoy. I've always enjoyed that too. I've always wanted to know what people's story is, if it's not from my side. You know what I mean? So even though I'm still single today, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, and I met some really cool people. And like I said in the last video, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm just playing it day by day. Not trying to worry too much about it. If it happens, I'll be happy. And if it doesn't, I'm going to keep rolling with the punches and keep playing with the cards I'm dealt. And it is what it is. I'm not going to stress out about it too much. I always had a vision of being with someone for so long and, starting a life together and all this stuff. Life happens. People had dreams and aspirations and visions for 2020, and that got shut down. So it'll be interesting to see where this part of my life goes in the next few months. Now that things are hopefully starting to be opened up soon. 2021 is the wave. 2020 was a dud. 2021 has to be a dub. So I'm hopefully going to be continuing to grow every single day. I definitely have learned a lot of lessons from 2020, and I'm definitely thankful that it happened, regardless of the bad, regardless of the negative that may have happened from it. I'm so thankful for the lessons it taught me. I wouldn't be here without those lessons. I wouldn't be as, I guess you could say, as knowledgeable about who I am as an individual without those lessons I learned. I feel like I'm a much better version of myself because of last year. And it only gets better. It's up from here. This podcast's growth has been a huge reason for it. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And if you guys don't follow me, you guys can see we are now on Spotify. I know it's taken me 40 minutes to talk about this, but I mean, hey, we're talking about it now. So it's really awesome to say we're on Spotify now, which was a big goal of mine when I started this, was to be able to get it on Spotify, because I know I've listened to podcasts on there. I know a lot of people don't want to watch a full video. It's just a lot easier to listen. So if you are listening to this now on Spotify, thank you. I appreciate you. If you're watching the video, go check out the Spotify. Anytime you want to listen to it on the car ride to work or on a long road trip, just take a listen. I hope you guys, get little bits and pieces from each episode, and you continue to get different pieces from the ones that are coming up. But it's really awesome to be able to say that we're up there now, and hopefully it helps the podcast grow in general. Now we're just not on YouTube, we're on multiple platforms. And, it's going to hopefully continue to get better. And the better it gets, the more information I can put out there, and the more support I get, the more people it can reach, and it just makes me more motivated to continue to do better and be better for you guys. So, it's been pretty awesome. So 2021 has already been really great. Even already this year, I've met some really great people and have connected with some really amazing people. We'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. I'm not going to put my expectations on anything, because I'm not the type to expect a lot from certain things. I want to let things play out as best as they can, and I want to live life to the absolute fullest. I want to basically experience everything that I can in life. So it's, like I said, like I continue to say, it's only up from here. And hopefully you guys can sit down and discuss these things with me, and we can continue these pep talks and keep this train rolling. I'm so happy to be in this position. I say that all the time, but you guys don't understand how awesome it is to be where I'm at right now. How awesome it feels to be where I'm at right now. Because I didn't expect it to be this good. I didn't expect it to be this much fun. And I was just talking to a friend last night, and how much fun this is. Like, this doesn't even seem like a job. And it really isn't. I mean, I consider it like a job, because I take pride in this, and I know a lot of people do look forward to these videos and these podcasts, and now these Spotify episodes. So I'm going to continue to put out information as much as I can. I have a couple topics for the next few videos, which is good. And again, please, if you have anything you want to discuss, we can sit down, we can talk about it. Just let me know in the comment section of this video. You can reach me on Instagram. Just holler at me there. I will always answer. I won't ever deny you of that. So just let me know what you guys want to hear. I think I talked about it last time. I've had a lot of people request to do like a guest spot on this. If you guys want to see other people on this, I'm going to try my best to see if I can get someone on here maybe once a month. Maybe do like a guest once a month. It doesn't have to be anybody famous. I'm not about that life yet. I'm not there yet. Hopefully soon, but if I can meet more people, that'd be awesome. If I can get more people's story out, that'd be awesome. So that's in the works right now. We'll see who can be first in joining me on this platform. And I already have ways of getting them on here. Obviously, I have camera, mics. I have multiple mics. I can get it set up anywhere. Maybe I'll get a studio that day for the group, or the guest, and we can go from there. And we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't want to leave anything off the table, but I don't want to promise anything yet. So if you guys want to see that, please let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. Please continue to give me any feedback you have. 2020 was tough for all of us. Let's just continue to make 2021 positive. As much positivity as we can push out in the world, let's do it. Let's try to be as thankful for life every day as we can. Continue to be thankful for life, because most people don't have that opportunity today, especially after last year. Reflect on the good, reflect on the bad. Continue to motivate yourself every single day. Continue to motivate those around you. Surround yourself with positive people, man. If you have people around you that aren't there for you and aren't positive and aren't supportive, get them up out of there. You do not need that around you. You do not need that energy around you, because you're only going to make life harder every single day when it doesn't need to be. I love you guys. I want to see you guys win. I want to see everybody happy and successful. We can continue to keep going up. So I think that about wraps it up. 2020 had a pretty consistent theme. Started off bad, but continued to grow, and we grew a lot all year long. For the good, for the bad, we grew. So a lot may have happened, but it's mainly about the lessons we learned. It doesn't have to be about every single aspect of 2020. We don't want to give any more energy to the negative. We learned from it, we lived through it. Now we got to keep moving forward every single day. So once again, guys, thank you so much for listening, for watching. Please follow the channel on Spotify. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. Like these videos, share these videos, comment on them all you want. Please, I love it all. You guys are awesome. Thank you to everybody who supports. I will continue to do my best every single day for you guys. I will see you in the next one, and we can continue to have these discussions every single week, maybe even multiple times a week. We'll see. But for now, I'll say goodbye, farewell, so long, till the next one. Enjoy the rest of your weeks if I don't hear from you, or if you don't hear from me for the rest of the week. And just continue to be positive, guys. Let's make 2020 the best we can. I'm out, guys. Bye.